Mark joined the staff of the GACC Midwest in 2006. Prior to this, Mark Tompkins has been a member of the Chamber and spent over 10 years in business development consulting, working with companies throughout the world in developing strategic alliances and long-term cooperation. Mr. Tompkins began his professional career in the automotive and IT industry in Germany and the United States, and he's a graduate of Northwest University in Evanston, Illinois, with a BA in Applied Mathematics and Economics and German. With that, Mark, we look forward to your comments.
Thank you, Brian. Very much. This is a pretty special day. Back when we started the ICAT program several years ago, it was a local couple of pioneering companies in Illinois that took on this challenge, and now we have our pioneer companies out here in Nebraska that are going to continue to build the program. But a lot of people wonder why the German American Chamber is so involved in workforce and apprenticeships. And the answer really goes back about 500 years to the guilds in old Germany. But to make the history short, the easy answership is that apprenticeship programs in Germany are managed by the local chambers over in Germany. Every company is invited to participate, and that's the way it is with our ICAT program as well. In a true public-private partnership, and the governor talked about it a little bit, those companies and chambers set the training standards. That's coming from the companies. What do they need? They promote the concept of apprenticeship out into the schools and work with government to ensure that the local schools are up to the task of training that future workforce. So internationally, we have German chambers in 92 countries now. We're part of that global network and work with our colleagues back in Germany, and how do we ensure that those standards can be applied around the world. Now, Germany didn't become a high-tech manufacturing leader and didn't become a world export leader by winning the race to the bottom. We're talking about high-tech products here. We're talking about winning that race in skills, winning it in good-paying careers. The Germans went the other direction and doubled down on investing in training, skills, and high-tech. Yesterday in Washington, U.S. Labor Secretary Acosta and German Labor Minister Hubertus Heil signed a new joint declaration to cooperate on labor policy. And point number one in that joint declaration is apprenticeship. And guess who gets to do the work? You're right, we do. It's not just the German American Chambers, it's not just Klaas, it's not just Grapel, but all of us here today. So naturally, the GACCs, we have a central and special role in making this happen, given our link between the German system and here in the US, but it's a true partnership. Now, you may have heard the slogan, Wunderbar together up there on the wall, or the Year of German-American Friendship, and apprenticeships are one key way for Germany and the US to work together. Now, the good news is ICAT and the underlying German certification is now active in over a quarter of the states in the US. So we're growing the program and proud to be here in Nebraska as well. And the better news is it works. Right here in the US, over half the participating companies already in the ICAT apprenticeship program are US companies. So even better, here in the state of Nebraska, we have the cooperation of the state's on board to help power this forward. That's not the case in every state. We're happy to have it in a few states that we're in, because mostly it's being driven by the companies, and without these pioneering companies, these kinds of things never get off the ground, even when they do start at a Cubs game and have a few people together to drive that forward. We have two great companies with Klaas and Grapel that are taking that leadership, but ICAT's open to all. In fact, just like in Germany, the true way to build a workforce in a community is to get as many companies on board as possible, training to the same standards, and that means specifically the smaller companies win. They don't have to start a program from scratch all on their own. They can join other companies in a consortium, and the governor already mentioned it, the C in ICAT is for consortium. We're doing this together. And that means the programs can survive hiccups at any one company. That means that high school students learn that the ICAT apprenticeship program is a great path to a real career, even if they've never heard of Klaas or Grapel or the third and fourth and fifth company to join the program. Once they know about the program, they can find out about a career path and then find that right fit with the company that fits them best. And it means a real job. It means a real degree, and it means an internationally recognized credential where they get both the US and the German credentials. So it's really all of that with no debt and money in their pocket. Pretty good result for somebody, especially for those kids just graduating high school and saying, what do I want to do with my life? So with that, I'd like to invite many, many more Nebraska companies to join these pioneers, offer a career pathway to some young apprentices, and make sure your own workforce is able to compete on a global stage. That's really what this is all about. We want to be competitive on a global scale. Our companies that are manufacturing here want to be competitive on a global scale, and we want to do it right here. So thank you very much all for being here today. I look forward to talking more details in a little bit.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. Next, I'd like to invite John Albon to the stadium, or to the podium. John was appointed as the Commissioner of Labor by Governor Ricketts in January of 2015. Prior to becoming Commissioner, John served as the Acting Commissioner and General Counsel to the Nebraska Department of Labor. He received his Juris Doctoral from the University of Nebraska College of Law. John is currently serving as a member of the Board of Directors of the National Association of State Workforce Agency and is a member of the Nebraska State Bar Association and its Government Practice Section. We welcome John and look forward to your comments.
Thank you. Well, thank you all very much. I was honored in 2015 to be appointed as Commissioner of Labor by Governor Ricketts. As you will understand shortly, he didn't hire me or select me because of my speaking skills, but I'll make do. As was noted in my intro, I've been with the Department of Labor for 29 years as of Friday officially. It seems to have flown by, and it's been kind of a long-term apprenticeship within the department, learning the various functions of the department. A lot of the last 25 years of that, or 27 years of that, have been involved within the various worker training programs within the Department of Labor. And I think that's important to note because there is a skills shortage in Nebraska. If you look at the workforce, we're working fools. We have one of the highest workforce participation rates. We have 975,000 plus, or 995,000 plus workers right now who are employed. And because a lot of them several of them hold two jobs, we've actually been over that 1 million jobs in Nebraska for several years in a row. And Nebraska traditionally has been one of the good working state with people committed to doing a good job. But one of the problems that we've developed particularly in the past few years, and particularly in the manufacturing sector, but also in every other sector, is that the workforce, it's no longer just a matter of good attitude and a strong back, but it's actually a matter of having those skills to do the jobs that are there. If you go to many of the factories today, you'll see really people aren't as much assembling the machines as they're running the computers that assemble the machines. So the need for a skilled workforce is very large in Nebraska. Our Department of Labor does a skills survey and a skills gap survey and a household survey within the state of Nebraska. And we've been doing this for the last 3 years consecutive, and the consistent need for employers is a skilled workforce. And apprenticeships are an excellent way of meeting that skills gap that exists, because you take workers who are good workers and then train them up to the skills that are high value skills for the employer. And Nebraska is in a unique position because we're a better educated workforce than most states that we can be compared to. Our work ethic is absolutely great, and so the apprenticeship model fits in so well to bring us up to that level that we need to be to expand manufacturing, because I'm sure the governor hears it, when he goes out, I know Dave Rippey, I don't think he's here today, from Director of Economic Development here, is that employers across the state tell us that their greatest barrier to expansion is the need for an expanded workforce. And as the governor noted, we're at 2.8% unemployment, which is like, okay, so how many people are there out there to really work? But don't let that statistic mislead you, because part of those labor shed studies that we do on a regular basis tell us that anywhere, depending upon the part of the state, 27 to 41% of the existing workforce is willing to move on to another job if the right opportunity presents it. And the pathway to higher skills, better employment, better income, better support for your families is through the apprenticeship programs. At Department of Labor, we've done some companion efforts where we're doing youth apprenticeships. We've partnered with our friends at Department of Education to work on work-based learning opportunities and pre-apprenticeships so that we can try and get those students into the position where they can move into the workforce. Because I can guarantee, although I plead guilty, I had a social sciences endorsement in education as my college undergrad degree, and my emphasis was in political science. In my 29 years with the department, I've never heard an employer approach us and say, can you find me a good poli-sci major? It just doesn't happen. And I think with our friends at Department of Education, there's been a new emphasis in this state to move people toward careers, not just get a piece of paper that you can hang on the wall and say, okay, I've got a degree in this, so now my life is set. But actually to take those kids as they're in high school and work toward creating a career path for them. And apprenticeships are such an amazing opportunity for students to move into those career paths. And Nebraska offers a lot of opportunities. I don't think our community college system takes a backseat to anyone. They do an excellent job. They can be intermediaries. We've worked with the youth at the high schools. In 2017, we had the very first youth apprenticeship program created in Nebraska. As 18 months later, we are at 9. And I think the example of the need and the opportunity for growth that is there is, our first one was in Grand Island with Dramco and the Grand Island Public Schools. As of April, we've gone from 1 employer apprenticeship program there, we'll be up to 6. And we're seeing the same thing. We have created the youth apprenticeship programs or helped create them. It's not all us, believe me. We're here to help, but the government isn't the solution, the employers are. But we've got programs, Scottsbluff, South Sioux City, Omaha, Norfolk, Columbus, Grand Island, and I know I'm missing a couple places besides that because we have 9 of them now. But the opportunity is there, the need is there, and I congratulate Grapel and Kloss today on their new apprenticeship program. Wish them well, and if there's anything we can do to help, let us know, because we're all here to grow Nebraska. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, I'd like to invite John Fonda to come up and talk. John is the CEO and chairman of John Day Company. John is the 4th generation leader. The John Day Company is celebrating 110 years of being an independent industrial, agricultural, integrated supplier and a safe house. John accepted the role of area director for Dream It, Do It, covering the greater Omaha area in January of 2017. Dream It, Do It is both a statewide and national organization. Dream It, Do It works to change the perception of the manufacturing industry and inspire the next generation workers to pursue manufacturing careers. John, we look forward to hearing about Dream It, Do It.
Like John before me, my friends would say that I would not be a professional speaker at all. So, and I think there's a few people out in the audience that I think are going to see if I can stay within time, which I promise that I will do, because I've been known to go on a little long. But my name is John Fonda. I'm the area director for Dream It, Do It. Dream It, Do It is a statewide and national organization. It supports manufacturing, but here in Omaha, one of my first things that I learned about this community was that we needed to change the word manufacturing to industry, because we really need to support all businesses and all their different functions. So if you're Kloss, you're obviously making fabulous combines with the support of John Day Company, but you also are doing accounting. There's legal work that has to be done. All those different things have to support it. So that's what Dream It Do It is about. Our goal is to engage the students along their career path to the many opportunities. And so we start with the 4th to 8th grade, trying to show them experiences. We were able to complete the M3E trailer, which we got a grant from Governor Ricketts, which we appreciate for that, and we have that out running. Last year we had approximately 1,500 students go through it. Our goal this year is to push 3,000 kids through that. In addition to that, we do careers fairs and speakers for the younger folks. The next area that I would say is that we're dealing with is the older group, and really trying to get our arms around that is the 9th to 12th graders before they enter the workforce. And really it's coming down to 3 areas that I see that from other parts of the country, that the Chamber of Commerce and business is coming down to learning about work, which is career and experience, learning for work, which is career training and education, and then career preparations, learning through work. And that's a really big task, but we're working with the businesses here locally to accomplish that. And as many of you talked about, and I could say ditto for everything that was up here, we're using the experiences of internships, mentoring, job shadowing, apprenticeships, and sponsor for trades. And that, and Dream It Do It is all volunteerism, and I know a lot of our group is out here in this crowd today, and I can't say enough about them, because the enthusiasm that our group and the enthusiasm that I see from the governor and from the coalition that you have put together is starting to make a difference, and you can see the passion out there. But it really does need to become a community. I know that my group has heard me talk about this, and so one of the things that is Dream It Do It kind of looks as our role really is an umbrella that we should encompass everybody and engage them along the way. But we can't do that on our own. So we are partnering with groups such as Avenue for Scholars, Partnership for Kids, the Heartland Workforce, Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce, MOAC, Exarban, Metropolitan Community College, UNO, the Omaha Ecosystems, and then all the area schools. OPS has just been a great supporter of our group, and I can't say enough about them. So it's a true collaboration. So any of you that would like to join our group, you're welcome to reach out to me after this, but I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to come up and share this. Deb was very kind to include us, because we really do have a lot of passion about it. So hopefully I got done within time.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, John. The final speaker we have today is Phil Raimondo. Phil, if you'd join us, please. Phil Raimondo started at Balin in 1990. Prior to being named president and CEO in 2006, he held a variety of positions in his 27 years with the company. Phil is also currently a Nebraska diplomat member and serves on the National Association of Manufacturing Board, as well as the Nebraska State Chamber of Commerce Board. Phil?
They didn't tell me what to do with too much time, so we'll be fine. First of all, I just want to tell everybody how honored I am for being up here to share in such a special moment with Klaus and Grapel and our labor groups and our education groups. It's just a wonderful opportunity and a super example of what happens in Nebraska. And I know the governor always likes to give everybody else credit, but the way I look at what Governor Ricketts has tried to do over and over again is he wants to lead Nebraska to strengthen global partnerships and relationships, whether that's in Germany like today, or China, or Mexico, or Canada. It's just, you're everywhere, and it's wonderful, and I just can't tell you how much Balin appreciates that, and I hope everybody else does too. So a little round of applause. So speaking of relationships, John talked a lot about what's going on with Dream It, Do It today, and there's nothing that gets kids' attentions better than trying to walk through something that's welding and a 3D printer, and you just, if you can grab people's attention for a second, that's what it takes. And then maybe you get them for a minute the next time, and then maybe 5 minutes, but trying to reach out for people and get them excited about what we can do in manufacturing and in industry in general is really what we're all trying to accomplish, I believe. And the National Association of Manufacturers started Dream It, Do It in the early 2000s, and that was a work in progress. And Nebraska was the first statewide program. Other cities had done Dream It, Do It in the past, but as a state, Nebraska took that on. And my father, Tony, or TR as he likes to be called, actually has been driving that and leading that charge for a long time. And not only is it just a program, but we look for ambassadors, and we've realized that when I go to a high school classroom and I tell people how great business is, there's a couple of eyes that go like this real fast. But when you have a 27 or a 24-year-old kid that just got out of college and has gone to every Nebraska game for the last 4 years, and they stand up in front of the classroom and say, you know, manufacturing has some exciting things, they're going to pay attention. And they want to, some of them want to talk. And the other thing, so we have a dream team every year that we try to put together, and that is kids that go to classrooms and they are ambassadors. And then hopefully we get them on the radio and we get a chance for them to share some of their stories. And the manufacturing day that the NAM sponsors in October is sometimes the first step, or you know, you get a tour of the plant, or you hear about how the community college or the universities are supporting manufacturing and can train and educate people. That's really where we're at. And as we try to walk through different experiences and how we make connections, Balin has done a lot of different things, and we started with internships a long time ago, and that's not a new concept. Actually, I was an intern in Omaha in 1980 through 84, and it was with a company that isn't here anymore. We won't go into that, but we've evolved into the apprenticeship program. And Balin started our apprenticeship program with John and a lot of people's help in the room in August. We had a meeting. 2 of our high school, Columbus High kids, signed up to be apprentices at Balin. And today we have 9 of them. And it's just unbelievable. This is like a diamond in the rough type of thing. So we're very excited about supporting it. We're very excited about all the different things going on. And here's a couple other things. The NAM, and there's other avenues, but they're starting to go to Fort Hood in Texas and work on training military retirees on how to work in manufacturing. And there's some opportunities. Fort Riley in Kansas is also doing that. There's some opportunities to do recruiting through those avenues. And I know we talk a lot about people that, you know, they don't want to move necessarily to Nebraska. And other than my son and his new wife getting married on Saturday, which I don't understand how they love the blizzard thing, but they're having a great time with it. Now they're in Mexico. But we can recruit people. And the military retirees are a great example of people that can connect and can get established in our communities, and they're used to moving. So it's not a bad thing. The other thing that we want to support wholeheartedly is women in manufacturing. We've had 5 STEP Award winners at Balin, and those were national recognitions by the NAM, and we're also looking at doing more and more with women in manufacturing. And then finally, the last piece that we try to do is we have never had a mandatory retirement, and there's over 150 Balin employees at one time or another that have made it over 40 years, and there's 10 that made it over 50 years. So if you just have an open mind and you look at all the different opportunities and what we can do, it still goes back to the beginning, and it's about relationships and partnerships with industry, partnerships with education, and partnerships with government. If we can all work together, that's what it's going to take, I believe. So thank you very much for inviting me to speak, and look forward to being on the panel and hearing some other great ideas. Thanks.
Thank you, Phil.